Hello, dear students. Today we are going to study chapter number 2, Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood, written by Anish Jung. In this story, the writer talks about two children whose names are Sahib and Mukesh. They belong to a poverty stricken family and also they are deprived of their basic rights like education and childhood freedom because they have to work for their family. They work as rack picker and bangle maker. Okay, so let's begin the story. First of all, let me tell you about Anish Jung. Anish Jung was born in 1944 in Rourkela, Odisha. She was a journalist and a renowned writer. She is famous for her book Unveiling India. Besides this book, she has written Night of the New Moon, Seven Sisters, and Breaking the Silence. These all are the best sellers. In today's class, we are going to read the story from her book Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. As I told you, here the author she talks about the children who are from the poor family and they are deprived of their education, deprived of their basic rights in their early age. The age which is called, like here the author compares their age, their childhood days to the spring season, and they have lost that season of their life. Now, in today's class, first of all, we will discuss about Sahib. He is a rag picker. Sahib and his family migrated from Dhaka after their homes and fields were destroyed by storms. Now, they live on the outskirts of Delhi, digging through garbage dumps in the city for their livelihood. Sahib does not go to school because there are none in his neighborhood. That's why the narrator light-heartedly asks Sahib if he would attend a school started by her. He agrees and even asks the narrator about it after a few days later. She realizes that she had made a promise she had not really meant to keep and recognizes with embarrassment that for children like Sahib, such broken promises are common because everybody promises them to do something but later on forgets. The narrator notes that Sahib and his friends are mostly barefoot and have never worn shoes in their life. If they wear shoes, they are mismatched. The narrator recalls seeing many such barefoot children across the country. She recollects people explaining this away as tradition and wonders if this is just an excuse to hide how widespread poverty is. The narrator then recollects her visit to Simapuri on the outskirts of Delhi, where migrants like Sahib's family live. The neighborhood is dotted with mud and tin houses without water and drainage. The residents there have no identity papers except ration cards, which enable them to get only food. For them, having a source of food is more important than having an identity. This is why they preferred to be here than in their home country where they went hungry. The narrator notes that for the adults in Simapuri, rag picking is a source of livelihood. But for children like Sahib, it is a source of hope as they even find money among garbage sometimes. One morning, the narrator finds Sahib watching two young men playing tennis. She notices that Sahib is wearing someone's old tennis shoes and ponders that though he has the shoes, he might never be able to play the game. Another day, she sees Sahib with a steel canister. He had started working at tea stall now. The narrator notes that Sahib is no longer carefree now and he works for someone else. Now, there is another story which is about Mukesh. Here, generations of family, including children, have spent their lives in dark, dingy rooms around the hot furnaces, welding and making glasses bangles, and were in Firozabad. The narrator introduces Mukesh who belongs to one such family but whose ambition is to become a motor mechanic. She describes her visit to Mukesh's home, which is situated in a locality with stinking lanes and crumbling homes. Mukesh's family is extremely impoverished. Despite years of hard labor by Mukesh's father, Mukesh's grandmother implies that they will never escape this, as it is a family profession that they have been carrying on for generations. The narrator notes that the entire locality is full of children and their parents who make bangles in the dark. Quite often, the children go blind before entering adulthood. If child labor laws are enforced in Firozabad, it would free at least 20,000 children from this dangerous trade. The narrator describes the sense of hopelessness that pervades Firozabad. For instance, an old lady tells the narrator how she has never enjoyed a square meal in her lifetime. Youngsters too seem to feel trapped and do not take any initiative because they are afraid of being harassed by the police. The narrator clearly sees two distinct worlds here, one of the poverty stricken bangle makers, limited by their caste linked profession, and that of middlemen and authorities who ensure that the vicious circle continues. Both worlds stop young children from dreaming, making them slaves to their fate. Hence, the narrator is cheered by Mukesh's declaration. His dreams, though modest, indicate that the next generation can escape from this such kind of professions like bangle making and rag picking. So that's all about the Lost Spring, two stories of stolen childhood. Thank you.